Imagine being trapped. Behind you, the most powerful army in the world. Chariots thundering, dust clouds swallowing the horizon. In front of you, a vast, impassable sea. There is no escape. No way left, no way right, no way back, and no way forward. This was the terrifying reality for the Israelites in Exodus chapter 14. They had just been freed from 400 years of slavery in Egypt, a miraculous liberation orchestrated by God Himself. But now freedom felt like a cruel joke. Their journey had led them to a dead end. Panic swept through the camp. People cried out to Moses, their leader. Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die? What have you done to us by bringing us out of Egypt? Didn't we say to you in Egypt, leave us alone? Let us serve the Egyptians. It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the desert. Their fear was understandable. Pharaoh had changed his mind. He and his officials regretted letting their entire slave labor force just walk away. So he mustered his army 600 of his best chariots, along with all the other chariots of Egypt, with officers over all of them. This wasn't just a pursuit, it was a mission of annihilation. The Israelites were on foot, a mixed crowd of men, women, and children, completely vulnerable. The sight of Pharaoh's approaching army was a death sentence. Moses, standing between a terrified people and an angry sea, had a choice. He could give in to the fear, join the chorus of doubt, and lament their fate. But he didn't. Instead, he turned to the people and spoke words of unshakable faith. He said, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Think about that command. Be still." In the middle of chaos, with swords and spears closing in, the instruction was to stop, to be quiet, and to trust. It's one of the hardest things to do when every instinct is screaming at you to run, to do something, anything. But their help wasn't going to come from their own strength. It was going to come from God. Then God gave Moses a specific instruction. He said, "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to move on. Raise your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea to divide the water so that the Israelites can go through the sea on dry ground." This is a pivotal moment. First, be still and trust. Then, when I command it, move forward in faith. It's a powerful two-step process. Wait for God's instruction, then act on it boldly. As Moses stretched his hand out over the sea, something incredible began to happen. The pillar of cloud that had been leading the Israelites moved from in front of them and stood behind them, right between the armies of Egypt and the camp of Israel. To the Egyptians, it was a cloud of darkness, plunging them into confusion and halting their advance. But to the Israelites, it was a pillar of fire, giving light to the night. One couldn't come near the other all night long. God had created a barrier, buying them precious time. And then, the main event. Throughout that night, the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind. It wasn't an instant, magical asterisk, poof, asterisk. It was a process. The wind howled, the waters churned, and slowly, miraculously, the sea began to part. The water divided, forming a wall on their right and a wall on their left, and in between, where there was once a watery abyss, there was now a path of dry ground. Can you imagine the awe, the fear, the sheer disbelief? Moses told them to move forward, to walk into the heart of the sea. They had to take that first step. They had to walk between those towering walls of water, trusting that they wouldn't come crashing down on them. This wasn't just about God doing a miracle. It was about the people participating in that miracle through their faith and obedience. They walked on dry ground, with the seabed firm beneath their feet, through the very obstacle that was supposed to destroy them. The Egyptians, blinded by their rage and arrogance, saw the path and charged in after them. They raced their chariots and horses into the middle of the sea, determined to recapture their slaves. They didn't recognize that this path was made by God for his people, not for their enemies. But as the last of the Israelites reached the other side, just as the dawn was breaking, God looked down on the Egyptian army from the pillar of fire and cloud and threw them into a panic. He jammed the wheels of their chariots, making them difficult to drive. The Egyptians finally realized what was happening. "Let's get away from the Israelites," they shouted. "The Lord is fighting for them against Egypt." But it was too late. God commanded Moses once more, "Stretch out your hand over the sea, so that the waters may flow back over the Egyptians and their chariots and horsemen." Moses obeyed. He stretched out his hand, and at daybreak the sea returned to its full depth. The towering walls of water collapsed. The path disappeared. The Egyptian army was completely engulfed. The Bible says that not one of them survived. The very sea that God had used for Israel's salvation became the instrument of their enemy's destruction. When the Israelites saw the great power the Lord had displayed against the Egyptians, they were filled with awe. They put their faith in the Lord and in his servant Moses. Standing safely on the far shore, they watched as the bodies of their former oppressors washed up on the sand. The threat was gone. They were truly, finally free. This story, the crossing of the Red Sea, is more than just an ancient miracle. It's a message that resonates with us today. How many times do we feel trapped with our own Egyptians at our back, our past mistakes, our fears, our anxieties, and an impassable Red Sea in front of Usan, impossible problem, a broken relationship, an uncertain future? We feel like there's no way out. The lesson from Exodus 14 is powerful. When you feel trapped, stand firm in your faith. Be still and know that God is in control. He can see a path where you only see an obstacle. He can make a way where there is no way. He fights our battles for us. Sometimes he asks us to be still, and other times he asks us to step out in faith and walk through the very thing we fear. The path might not be easy, and it might require tremendous courage, but it leads to freedom. The same God who parted the Red Sea for the Israelites is the same God who is with us today. He can part the seas in our lives too. Comment yes if it was inspiring, and like and subscribe for more.